Hi friends, good morning. Today I will take the chapter of verb in English grammar, which is regarded as the one of the most important chapters of parts of speech. So, first of all, I want to introduce all of you with the chapter of verb. So, when we talk about a verb in a sentence, it means we are referring to an action. Here, verb refers to an action which is going to occur in the sentence. As we already know that a sentence is supposed to be made out of a subject and at least a single verb. No matter there would be one subject or more than two subjects, it doesn't matter. The matter is there should be at least a subject and a verb for a sentence to be completed. So, if we talk about the tenses in English grammar, all the tenses in English grammar are supposed to take their form according to the verbs which are being used in a sentence. So, in simple word, we can say that it is the verb which decides a sentence's tenses. These are the same verbs which refer a verb's tenses, a sentences in which tense are they, in which form are they. It totally depends on the action of a verb. Suppose in English grammar, all the tenses are supposed to be dependent upon the action of a verb. It is only the verb which decides a tense form. Otherwise, we cannot say that in which form is a tense exist. As I say, he goes, this indicates the tense of present indefinite. If I say he went, here the form of verb is supposed to be changed. In the previous example, the form of verb had taken present indefinite tense, but in this sentence, the form of verb has become totally changed, and it has been changed from present indefinite to present indefinite to past indefinite. So we can say that it is only verb which decides a tense's existence. In which form is this tense and in which form or not this tense. So we can say that it is only verb that decides a tense's real position. Either it is present indefinite, or it is past indefinite, or it is in past perfect. So we can say that only verb decides a tense position. So in English grammar, when tenses changes, when a tense changes, it means it is the action of a verb which is responsible for the change of a tense. it is nothing else except a verb in a sentence who will be responsible for the changing which occur in case of a tense. So, verb plays a very important role in a sentence. In the lack of verb, we cannot create any type of sentence. If we talk about the definition of a verb in English grammar, in simple words, we can say that a verb refers to the action which is supposed to occur in a sentence. In other words, as we can say that a word which refers to an action which is going to happen in the sentence, it means the word which is responsible for any type of action can be called a verb. So, if we talk about the variants of verb in English grammar, so there are a number of types of verbs in English grammar, and I will take one by one because there are a number of variants of verbs as transitive verb, intransitive verb, finite verb, non-finite verb, linking verb, stative verb. So there are many variants of verbs. But in reality, if we talk about verbs, in reality, there are two types of verbs. In reality, first is helping verb and other is main verb. Helping verbs are used in sentences to notify a tense real state, while main verb changes according to helping verb. As we say that helping verb used in English grammar acts according to the main verb. Sometimes helping verb doesn't require any type of main verb. They act according to the subject of the sentence. If I say he was there, in this sentence was is a helping verb or auxiliary verb, and he is a subject. Was shows the state of a pronoun he. So we can say that it is not important to be a main verb in a sentence. So a subject and a helping verb may create a sentence, but here the existence of an object is necessary to show. If I say he was, what he was? It is incomplete until we associate an object. If I say he was there, sentence is complete. He was the Prime Minister of India, sentence is complete. But if I say he was, sentence is incomplete. So now we are going to ahead to clarify linking verb and main verb. What is linking verb? A linking verb, if we talk about the definition of a linking verb always connects a noun or pronoun, or a linking verb tells extra information of a noun or a pronoun. So, linking verbs doesn't connect main verb to helping verb. Linking verbs connect a subject to a verb. As I say, she was beautiful. Here, beautiful is an adjective which is showing extra information of she. Who was she? Who was beautiful? She was beautiful. So in case of linking verbs tells extra information of a subject. And we already know that subjects are always noun or pronoun. Another example, the teacher is absent today. The teacher is absent today. Here, absent is a verb. Who is absent? The teacher is absent. So, absent is referring to the extra information of the teacher. And it is indicating the fact that today the teacher is absent in the class. So we can say that linking verbs tells about the extra information of a subject in a sentence. He was a great man. He was a great man. Here, great man is telling about the extra information of he, which is working as a subject in the sentence. So we can say that a linking verb always shows or always tells about the extra information of a verb, of a subject. So the role of linking verb is very important in English grammar. Apart from the linking verb, we are talking about the main verb of a sentence. It is only main verb which is always responsible for the action and reaction of a sentence. In other words, we can say that action of a subject or action of a subject is being referred by a word which is called as a verb. So we can say that a main verb always functions as a principle. We can say that as a principle. So it is only the main verb which decides action and reaction which are going to happen in the sentence. And as we already know that form of verb, first form of verb, there are four form of verb. First form, second form, third form, ing form. And all forms are applied in case of verb. And it is only verb which decides a position of a tense. In which position a tense is kept before us is being decided by a verb in a sentence. So, main verbs always functions as an we can say that a main verb always functions as a primary source of a sentence, because in the lack of main verb a sentence cannot exist. It is necessary for a sentence to have the existence of a main verb. Although linking verbs can also fabricate a sentence, but the existence of main verb is also necessary. in the lack of main verb, linking verb can also create a sentence, no matter. So now we are going to tell you about the two different parts of a main verb. When main verb actions in a sentence, it is seen that is it working as a transitive verb or is it working as an intransitive verb in a sentence. So if a verb, if a main verb, suppose if a main verb is working as a transitive verb in a sentence, it means the main verb must have an object. If a main verb is working but it doesn't have an object in the sentence, it means it is an intransitive verb. So the reason, the main here main thing is how to identify a verb. How to identify a verb, that is it transitive verb or is it intransitive verb. So there is a simple way of identifying a verb, whether is it intransitive verb or transitive verb. So we would have to ask only a question to a verb. So this is the question of what. In the previous lectures, we've already introduced all of the students to this question, which is to be asked a verb. So we can ask only a simple question to a verb. What? If the answer of this question refers to a noun or a pronoun, then it is a transitive verb. If the answer of what doesn't refer to a noun or pronoun, it means it is an intransitive verb. Because transitive verb requires an object, but intransitive verb doesn't require any type of object. If I say Mohan reads book, if I say Mohan reads, if I say only Mohan reads, the question will arise, what reads? Its answer is book, and book refers to a noun. So here we can say that here the verb read is a transitive verb because it needs an object. So we can say that in case of transitive verb, they always would require an object. But in case of intransitive verb doesn't require any type of object in the sentence. As I say, he goes to the market. Here, go is working as a main verb in the sentence, but it doesn't require any type of object. Because here, the need of object is not with the verb, but with the preposition. It is the preposition which needs an object, and verb doesn't require any type of object in the sentence. So an object needed by a preposition cannot do any work for the main verb, because the object of preposition and object of verb both are different. Where preposition requires an object and where a verb requires an object. If verb requires an object in a sentence, we would have to give the verb object. without using any type of preposition. If we have already used a preposition, then the object is called not an object of a verb, but it is an object of preposition. So it is very clear to identify whether it is transitive verb or intransitive verb. We would have to ask only a simple question to the verb. What? If the answer of what is a noun or pronoun, then it is a transitive verb. If answer of what is not a noun or pronoun, then it is an intransitive verb. Because transitive verb always require an object, but intransitive verb doesn't require any type of object. If I say he killed, the question would arise in our mind, what killed? Whom killed? It doesn't the question doesn't require how did he killed? Where did he killed? Why did he killed? Because the answer of all these questions would not be a noun or pronoun. The answer of all these questions would be an adverb. Either it will be adverb of time, or it will be adverb of place, or it will be an adverb of manner. But question of what would come as a noun or a pronoun. Who killed? Who killed? The answer will be a noun or pronoun. Anybody, noun or pronoun. So, it is the basic difference between a transitive verb and intransitive verb. Next, we are going to discuss helping verbs. Helping verbs. Every tense keeps its own different types of helping verbs. Apart from helping verb, there are modal verbs. In case of modal verbs, we can say that modal verbs the form of modal verbs do not change. Because modal verbs doesn't change. So, if we talk about auxiliary verbs in the sentence, auxiliary verb always changes according to tense. As in past tense, for linking verbs, we use was were, and in the present perfect tense, we use has have with the third form, and with the past perfect tense, we use had or had been. We use had plus been to show the position. Been is used to show a position. Is, are, am, was, were, has, have, had been, would have been. All these are auxiliary verbs. So, auxiliary verbs in the sentence decides the form of a tense. In which form is the sentence exist? Either it may be in the present indefinite or past indefinite, present perfect or past perfect. It tells about the existence of a sentence. Apart from this, we are going to talk about finite verb and non-finite verbs. The basic difference between a finite verb and non-finite verb is, on one hand, a verb is supposed to have a subject and its own object. It is totally happened finite verb. Finite verb. Finite verb is supposed to have some limitations, but in case of infinite verbs, there is no limitation. Finite verb is supposed to have a subject and object, but in case of infinite verb doesn't require a subject or object in the sentence. Finite verb requires subject object, but infinite verb doesn't require it. Finite verbs are supposed to have some limitations, but infinite verbs are supposed to have no limitations. Third difference is the form of finite verbs are always supposed to be changed, but in case of infinite verbs, their forms doesn't change. So non-finite verb can work as a subject in a sentence, but finite verb cannot work as a subject in any type of sentence. Non-finite verb can work as a subject. They may become a subject in the sentence, but finite verb cannot work as a subject in the sentence. As we can say that to do is better than to rest. Here to do is the better. To do is working as a subject in the sentence. But we cannot say do is better than to say. So, infinite verb or non-finite verb can work as a subject in the sentence, but finite verbs cannot work as a subject in the sentence. These are the major differences between finite verb and non-finite verb. So, next we are going to take, let me see what is remaining there. Phrasal verb. Phrasal verbs refers to those type of verbs which are supposed to be made with more than two words. Put out, put on. These are the phrasal verbs. So, now it is very easy to identify a phrasal verb in the sentence. Where they fall, they can be identified very easily because they work not alone in the sentence. They are supposed to have a unity of more than one words. Break down, break and down. These are two words working as a phrasal verb in the sentence. So, it is not very tough to identify a phrasal verb in the sentence. It is very easy because they cannot work in the single form. So, in the last way, at the end of the lesson or chapter of verb, we can summarize the whole. First, if we talk about the verb in a sentence, a word that refers to an action or reaction which is going to happen in the sentence with the verb, with the subject, it means the word which is showing action can be called a verb in the sentence. Second, it is only verb which decides a tense position in the sentence. In which form is this present? Next, there are four forms or position of a verb. First form is first form, second form, third form, and ing form. So, variants of the verbs: transitive verbs, intransitive verbs, finite verbs, non-finite verbs, linking verbs, helping verbs, modal verbs. There are these types of verbs take a position in English grammar. So in English grammar, we can say that in English grammar, it is only verbs which is responsible for the changing of a tense and nothing else is remaining to be told to you. So guys, in the next class I will take another lecture on the verb. Thank you.